This is the moon. Today I'll be telling about the first man on the moon. This is him, Neil Armstrong. He was on Apollo 11. Here are some facts about him. He became an astronaut in 1962. He was born in Wapakoneta, Ohio in 1930. He was also a naval aviator from 1949 to 1952. He got his flying license when he was 16. He flew in 200 different models of aircraft. Now we'll talk about the International Space Station. The International Space Station is a space station that people live on. On the International Space Station, astronauts do experiments on different objects and life forms and what they do while in zero-G. While people have been on the International Space Station, we have discovered how space makes the human body fragile because of the lack of gravity. An important space scientist is Yuri Gagarin. He studied tractors in college. He discovered what it is like to fly through space. This has affected space travel by establishing what we know about space travel.
My name is Diam, and I will be telling you about planets, Venus, NASA's economical impact, what NASA is, space's effect on humans, and 3 facts on stars. Our first topic, what is a planet? What is a planet? According to Google Dictionary, a planet is a celestial body moving in an elliptical orbit around a star. That means in order to be classified as a planet, a celestial object has to be in an elliptical orbit around a star. But it also has to meet 3 criteria. What is a planet continued? According to curious.astro.cornell.edu, those criteria are: 1. It must be an object which independently orbits the sun. This means moons can't be considered planets since they orbit planets. 2. It must have enough mass that its own gravity pulls it into a roughly spherical shape. 3. It must be large enough to dominate its orbit. Example, its mass must be much larger than anything else which crosses its orbit. All planets orbit a star. In our solar system, we orbit the sun. How does mass affect the gravity of a planet? According to study.com, the amount of mass affecting an object depends on 2 things: the masses of the objects being attracted and the distance between the objects. Mass is the measure of the amount of matter in an object. We see that the gravitational force between objects increases as the masses of the objects increase. This refers to how mass affects planets and pretty much anything else too. All about Venus. Here are some fun facts about Venus. Venus is one of the 2 planets that rotate clockwise. One day on Venus is longer than 1 year. Venus is sometimes called Earth's sister planet. NASA and Kennedy Space Center's economical impact. NASA and Kennedy Space Center have had bad effects on the ecosystem. Here's an example of a launch. Rest assured, this never really occurred. And when it's all over. Not only can this happen, but when the smoke from the rocket's engines gets inhaled by a human or any animal, it can cause damage to the lungs, and an exposed can damage sight. What is NASA? NASA is a government agency that is responsible for science and technology related to air and space. NASA opened on October 1st, 1958. 3 facts on stars. Fact 1. The sun is actually green. The sun appears to us as yellow or white, but it actually is all the colors mixed together, which appears to us as white. Fact 2. Stars are made of cold clouds of molecular hydrogen. Fact 3. Most stars are red dwarf stars. Effects of space on the human body. Muscle atrophy can occur. According to Helpline.com, muscle atrophy is when muscles waste away. The main reason for muscle atrophy is lack of physical activity. The lack of effort in space is about the same as not exercising. Your heart can become more rounded, and that's not good if you didn't know. The good heart has a slightly pointed edge, but the unhealthy rounded heart has a very rounded tip.